Good to go for sports today on ABS TV. It's a Friday edition. It can only get better on the sports show in the heart and soul of the drive. And that's what we'll do here. My name is Ike Nwoke. A whole lot's going down in the world of sports, and it promises to be a very busy weekend in the world of sports. I will have to start from the local scene. We'll tell you about the NFF and Nike. The partnership deal they have is still fluid. They met sometime yesterday out there in Asaba to talk about how to enhance the visibility of Nigerian football, how to do more business as regards merchandising and all that. We'll also be telling you on the show about the Falcons, the Falcons Invitational Tournament in China. Not a good way to start, losing 3-0 to the national team of China. They're going to come back when they take on Romania. We'll be talking about that on the show. Also, Lobby Stars, you remember, in the continent, they are representing Nigeria in the CAF Inter-Club competition. It's the premium for them. CAF Champions League. There is now time for them to visit Ivory Coast and for them to take on ASEC Mimosa. To also be looking at that one. We'll tell you about Nigeria players abroad. A lot of Nigerians are going to Tunisia. What is happening in Tunisia? Clubs like the Blood and Gold, they are getting players there. We'll also tell you about certain on-tour sports as a thief. Also, Nigerians are going there. Also on the show, on Sports Today, the Friday edition, will tell you about what's going down in Ghana. The sad news, Anas Arameyo, his colleague now has been hacked down. Just some sad news are coming on, and in the course of doing his job, and hashtag journalism will continue to say it's not a crime. We'll raise that hashtag indeed, and of course I want to commiserate with that man and the family over the loss. I commiserate with and the sports world in Ghana, I should say, and the family over the loss of that Ghanaian sports journalist. Will also be looking at what's happening at the Down Under. It's the Australian Open, the first Grand Slam in the year, and it's going on well. I have to tell you about Caroline Wozniacki. She makes her exit from the tournament. Maria Sharapova did that. At some point in time, she was struggling and she had to go southpaw to get her results right. We'll also tell you about the big one coming up this weekend. It's the London Derby. Tottenham Fulham is in the offing. Chelsea Arsenal. Unai Emery needs to get his Arsenal charges back on the show. We'll get to talk about that and lots more on sports today on ABS TV. Joining me on the show, I have Nnamdi Tony in the house with me today. Nnamdi, good to have you on the show as usual on a Friday like
Pleasure
this.
To be here.
Definitely. Let's start with the NFF now. NFF Nike. You talk about a strategic deal, and they met on Thursday. After the break now, it's a new year. The NFF has to start getting their acts together, and that's just the right way to start now. They met to strategize for the new year. It was a meeting in Abuja, as you see, on Thursday for the review of 2018 and plan for the new year. On top of the agenda was the activation of the new Robusta contract signed by the parties, and that was sometime in November 18, especially in the aspect of distribution of Nike merchandise, and also tell you about the opening of more Nike outlets out there, and this is more like spreading their tentacles, cementing the tiles out there, and that's what the NFF is doing now. Present in the meeting, we had the likes of Nike's Atina Salminen, the Director of Sports and Marketing African Football, was there in the meeting, alongside Indrek Heymet, Commercial Director of Sports Division. Mr. Alizo Chuks is the NFF's head of marketing, alongside Mr. Sean Harris, the general manager of Nike. What a meeting it was for the NFF. Right way to go, right way to start. It's a new year. We'll have a couple of competitions coming up. Our preparations already in top gear. We'll have the Nations Cup to be hosted by Egypt, and we also have the Women's World Cup all coming up in that period. And of course, how do you see all this?
Yes, it's a very, very happy new year for Nigerian football. Considering that this has happened, there's a continuation of the sponsorship. That means Nigeria is doing something right.
Sure.
It's a great development, and hopefully it will be extended to the next year and in more years to come. As we begin to get more sponsorships, other companies, other sponsors will now come and be more interested in Nigeria, and potentially will now patronize the Nigerian Premier Football League too. Sure. So it's great development.
It's great development. Also, now they made mention of the Nigeria Professional Football League. We'll also be reeling out the fixtures later on the show. We'll focus on Group B. That's the side that concerns us. We'll talk about that on the show. But let's talk about the Falcons, one of the national teams, with an eye on the big one coming up later in the year. It's all about female conviviality, football at its best out there. We're watching out for that one. France hosting that one. The Women's World Cup are coming up June 7th to be precise. precise, and is expected to clock off on July 7th. But the Super Falcons rather have started the preparations for that one. Thomas Denabi in charge of that one. They are in China for a four-team invitational tournament now. Well, not just the right way the Falcons wanted to start, and they lost their first game by 3-0, and 3-0 to the Steel Roses of China yesterday it was, and the Four Nation Invitational Football Tournament, the Hoitang Stadium, Meizu Wuhua out there in China, and goalkeeper Tochukwu Olue, he pulled off some brilliant saves in that match, some world-class saves you could say, but it wasn't enough to save the Falcons, who switched off defensive-wise there and couldn't get their act together. They lost by 3-0. They're expected to face Romania in their second match. That game is coming up on Sunday. Romania, of course, lost 0-3 to Korea. So contrasting ties for both sides. Romania not getting it right, and then you also have Nigeria and Korea in that one, and China versus Korea Republic will also be slugging it out. Both games are on Sunday. We'll be watching out. Are we expecting the Falcons to bounce back as strongly for that? And does this have any psychological effect in terms of the preparation for the ladies getting to the World Cup in June?
I hope not. I hope they will be able to bounce back. As you said, they play Romania, who also lost their opening game too. So we hope that Nigeria, our ladies, will able to bounce back against Romania. China are, of course, hosting this Four Nations competition. So you expect them to be strong and confident at home. As you said, there was some, despite us losing 3-0, potentially if it was another team or we had another goalkeeper, it could have been more. So actually there were some very good individual performances at that game. So it wasn't all negatives.
And of course, I will be watching out for them. I told you, of course, it's Sunday coming up. Romania taking on the Super Falcons. We'll be watching out for that. I hope they bounce back and get the results we want to see. Football fans are hoping on the Falcons to go better in their preparation. You know, it has been absolutely woeful for us in the 2003 edition, 2007 edition. We've not gotten it right, but right now we believe we'll have a manager with the right antecedents also, that knows his onions well, to get us to where we want to be. Our best performance at the Women's World Cup has been the 1999 edition, when we got to the second round. We lost to Brazil in that one. That was in extra time there. But this time around, we are looking to go better. We want to move away from the tag of being local champions and start getting to where we'll be at the international stage. I hope they get it right. This is just the way to start. I have to say kudos to the NFF for putting up at this, giving that huge support. We've been clamoring for the Falcons to prepare for an international competition such as the World Cup. So watch out for the next game. Falcons taking on the Romanian female national team, and finally in their last group game match, they're expected to take on Korea in the Four Nation Invitational Tournament happening in China. I'll continue to keep you posted as regards development of what is going on in China. Away from that, let's talk about football at the continental level. Two clubs are representing Nigeria in the CAF Inter-Club competition, and Lobby Stars is one of them in the mode of the CAF Champions League, and Rangers International in the mode of the CAF Confederation Cup. But this time, we gotta tell you that Lobby Stars are on the road, and they are expected to take on ASEC Mimosas of Ivory Coast out there at the Hofoi-Bueta Boigny Stadium. Is happening in Ivory Coast, and Solomon Oboide said that the team is in good spirit heading into this one. Coming up on Saturday, you could recall that Lobby Stars defeated Sundowns by 2-1 in the first group match. So they had $12,000 in their name. A win, of course, in the CAF Champions League, it may interest you to know, is worth $10,000, and every goal scored is $1,000. So $12,000. They have 3 points right now, and you have to talk about an ASEC Mimosas with a dreadful performance. It was quite woeful when they played in Morocco. They lost to Wydad Casablanca 2-5. It ended now, and they will be looking for a moment of a resurgence to bounce back and try and get the result and make the fans happy. I think they need to get a result. Anything short of a victory for them, it may just be their boogeyman in terms of participation in this competition. We'll be watching out for them, but we wish Lobby Stars all the best. We want them to at least get a point out there in Ivory Coast when they take on ASEC Mimosas. And one other thing fascinating about this is that if you look at the Lobby Stars and the three teams they are playing in that group, they've all won the CAF Champions League. Mamelodi Sundowns won it 2 seasons ago. You talk about ASEC Mimosas that has been there for a long time, and then with that Casablanca, you know, their exploits. So it's going to be a mammoth task for Lobby Stars to get the better of talk about ASEC Mimosa.
Yes, it's a very, very strong group. Very, very strong group indeed. As you know, we're rooting for Lobby Stars. We're also rooting for Enugu Rangers. These are our two teams, so we need to support them and get behind them. I think Lobby Stars, if they won the opening game, if they position themselves well and contain themselves, they should be able to at least get a draw, and if not a win. So I'm confident, I'm positive that they should get something out of it.
And Nandi feels confident and positive about the team's chances in the CAF Inter-Club competition. And of course, we have to actually come out and give support to Lobby Stars. They play at the Anambra Azikiwe Stadium, though they share the same stadium with Rangers International. Rangers International, you can recall, last weekend won away in Lesotho. They will be looking at the return leg in Enugu and hope that one will be a formality, and then they can get into the group stage of the CAF Inter-Club competition, the second tier, which is at the CAF Confederation Cup. I'll continue to wish the Nigerian teams all the best in their quest in the CAF Inter-Club competition, and with their performance this season, they're able to give us extra slots. So next season in the CAF Inter-Club competition, there will be 2 Nigerian club sides are playing in the CAF Champions League, and there will be 2 playing in the CAF Confederation Cup, the first and the second. But how that is going to be decided, we'll be watching out for that. We'll hear, according to the league management company, that the league, the top 3 from both sides will go into a Super 6, and the 4 the end of it all, that's 8 teams are expected to be relegated, but we'll be watching out for that. Let's see how it goes for the teams out there and see the teams that will be representing us in the CAF Inter-Club competition. Already we've been seeing surprises in the Nigeria Professional Football League that is just 2 weeks old, and teams are going away from home and getting results and pulling the chestnut out of the fire. This is the kind of the brand we want to see in Nigerian football, but football hooliganism will have to stem the tide of that one. Is also another aspect of the game we need to get our acts on, so that we can get to where we want to be in terms of our football development and restructuring in the country. Let's talk about Nigeria professional. Let's talk about Nigeria players abroad before we'll have a bit of a look at the Nigeria Professional Football League. Former Anambra star Christian Obiozo has inked a 2-year deal with Stade Gabessian. We hear Obiozo, it may interest you to know David Obiozo equally has signed for Tunisian club Stade Gabessian, and he joined the likes of Junior Lokosa, who has signed for Esperance. Esperance, you know them. They are fondly called the Blood and Gold. He has signed for them. A certain Ifani, who once played for Akwa United, has also made the move to Anton Sportif Setif out there in Algeria. So big Nigerians are going elsewhere. Gabriel Okechukwu is also in the news. He has moved to Morocco for pastures anew. And you could recall that man, Obiozo, once featured in 2014 Chan. He has played for Kano Pillars. He has played for, I think, Enyimba International and equally Rangers International. And now he has gone to Gabessian. We wish him the very best in continuation of his football career. Let's talk about the Nigeria Professional Football League now, before I bring in Namdi again. Yobe Desert Stars will be taking on Abia Warriors, Go Round FC Fanyoba, Nasarawa United, Heartland, Plateau United, El Kanemi, Kano Pillars to take on Akwa United, and Kada City is expected to take on Gombe United. After match day 2, we are heading to match day 3. You've seen the Nigeria Professional Football League on the very first 2 days. There's been surprises out there when you talk about a team like Go Round going to Abia Warriors and winning a game, and Plateau United on the first day, you saw the fans going haywire.
Oh yeah, it's funny just getting the information and getting the results and seeing what's happening. The small clips that I do get. Thank you for, by the way, because I'm getting a lot of information from you and I'm learning every day. To see Lobozo, Ozzy Bozo, and also get to seeing Lokosa, Obiozo, now seeing Lokosa making their moves to Tunisia or to the North Africa. I see it as a good trampoline, potentially maybe going to Europe or going to another league. And it shows that something is happening, something is going right in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Sure. You know, our strikers are developing well, our players are playing to a reasonable standard for people for them to be attracted by other places. Sure. So hopefully they can come back, or when the league develops, they now stay here, and after the league continues to develop and go the way it's going.
continue to develop, and just have to re-echo the comments of Anambra, that one, and that's exactly what we want to have, and subsequently we may have them in the national team, be the under-20, under-23 side, but for a player like Obiozo, he should now be rooting for a place in the Super Eagles squad, but we'll be putting the spotlight on him and see how he performs as Stade Gebesien out there in Tunisia. In the Tunisian league is one of the elite leagues in African football. When you talk about Premier Soccer League in South Africa, you also talk about Tunisian league, you talk about the Egyptian league, when you have the likes of our Masri, Al Ahly, and a whole lot of our clubs out there. Algerian league is also not left out. Moroccan league is also not left out. Wydad Casablanca, Raja Casablanca, and a whole lot of other clubs out there doing the needful as regards that. And before we go for a break, let's talk about Crystal Palace's pursuit of John Mikel Obi and Victor Moses. Yes, John Mikel Obi feels he wants to return back to England. He's a man that made 249 appearances for Chelsea, has been there for a long time, left in January 2017, right now has severed the contract he has with Tianjin Teda, and he's looking for pastures anew and want a new experience. John Mikel Obi, at the age of 31, should he be coming back to England or going to places like the oil-rich Qatar to make money, or equally the United States of America? I was thinking he would have gone to such places.
Actually, funny, yeah, going to MLS may have been a good option for him. You consider it as kind of like a place to retire. But I think he earned enough money in China. So I feel he wants to play competitive football. So he's coming back to the UK. Okay. He's coming back to play in the Premier League. And as I said, he has one eye, I'm assuming, on the Nations Cup next year. So it's a good shout for him, and I think a positive development again.
Positive development, you have to say again. Also, if you consider the fact that Victor Moses, he has just made only 6 appearances this season in all competitions in England, and about 22 matches played in the league. He has just made 2 appearances, just 1 start and 1 coming off at the bench. That's not good enough for a player. We are trying to make him rescind his decision to come back to the national team. So says NFF President Amaju Pini, who is angling to have a talk with Victor Moses and his representative out there in England. We hope to have him back, but ideally I feel he should look for pastures anew. The Nations Cup is a big competition with the likes of Senegal, Egypt and Morocco being tough oppositions out there. We need the best of our players, and we want our players to equally be at their best and equally stay touchwood getting to such competition. Sports today on ABS TV. We'll go for a break on the show. We'll be showing you the highlights of the game between Southampton and Derby County in the FA Cup in England. When we'll come back, we'll tell you about Yaya Toure. We'll also tell you about what's happening in Australia as regards the first Grand Slam of the year in tennis, and then we'll reel out the fixtures of matches in major leagues across Western Europe, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, and England. When we'll come back on Sports Today, join us again. More on the show Sports Today on ABS TV. Let's talk about Yaya Toure. Toure is dreaming of a Premier League return, and for sure he's not going to go to Manchester City, but there are other clubs that can go for the signatures of Yaya Toure. He fell out with Pep Guardiola. Of course, his agent Dimitri Selok was always talking tough and coming out in the media, and then he had to fall out with that man talking about Pep Guardiola. Remember, Pep Guardiola came to Barcelona. The moment he came to Barcelona, Yaya Toure stopped playing. Same situation befell him when he came to Manchester City, and after a season that he was in, Yaya Toure kind of became surplus to requirement. What has happened to African players? Some feel that he has some issues, some scores is yet to settle with Yaya Toure.
I don't know. Guardiola continues to pursue Yaya Toure from Barcelona to now Man City. He won't leave him alone. I don't know what's happening. but on a serious note, I think he's got enough years within himself to continue his playing career. He's a very, very good player. And it's not just about his physicality. He's a very intelligent ball player, very, very technically gifted. So I can't see why any club would not want him. The only issue is that, or actually, there's probably one reason is how much would they pay him? Because the money he was getting is very difficult. Yes, yes, but yes,
at the age of 35.
Yes, but yeah, if someone can match his wages or he's willing to come down, then I don't see why there would be any club who wouldn't want him.
He spent 8 years at Manchester City, and now he's looking for pastures anew. We also hear that Celtic are in talks for his signatures, but ideally I don't think he will go to Scotland. You remember his younger brother or his elder brother Koloture is also there among the technical crew of that club out there. Brendan Rodgers, the coach of the team, they had some talks out there, but I don't think he came out positive. So he's thinking about coming back to England. Maybe Crystal Palace may also be thinking about swapping and coming in and getting Yaya Toure to beef up their defensive setup. And equally, the midfield setup is a utility player of some sort, and he knows a whole lot about the game. He's been a linchpin of any team he's played for, and he has never failed in his attempts in the world in the class of category in football that he does. Let's look at the sad news coming through from Ghana. We'll talk about this man, Ahmed Hassan, who was shot yesterday. Of course, while coming back, and that man has actually helped in exposing some ills in African football. He was instrumental in exposing, talk about the Kwesi Yantaki, the deposed Ghana AFA chairman for bribery and all that. Also, some referees also we are in the picture out there, and a lot of controversies then. Anas Remeyo, Anas and his team, and now. And this is a big hit, and you have to say a big disappointment and a big blow to the quest by Anas and his group to unravel the misdeed. And of course, the fraudulent activities are happening in football in Africa. At some point in time, Salisu Yusuf was also involved in the whole issue, an assistant coach of the Super Eagles, and he actually had a ban from the NFF. Let's talk about tennis now. Tennis, big ones are happening out there. Caroline Wozniak is out of it. Courtesy of Maria Sharapova got the better of her. But of course, some of the results are coming through. Camila Gioli of Italy saw off her Iga Swiatek 6-2, 6-love, and Caroline Pliskova saw off Madison Brengel of the United States of America. That game ended 4-6, 6-1, 6-love, and Wang of China saw off Alexandra Krunic of Serbia 6-2, 6-3. Elena Vitolina defeated Victoria Krusmanova 6-4, 6-1 in that game. You've seen the Australian Open. Results are coming through out there. Shocking results, you have to say. Some of them quite really expected, but the Williams sisters are remaining on their own path. They are staying put. I think we may be looking out for a very top 8, a quarter-final match when we get to that point.
Yeah, well, I'm rooting for the sisters. Are you rooting for the sisters?
Well, maybe I'll root for Sloane Stephens.
Oh, okay.
I'll root for Sloane Stephens. I have my reservations out there. But as the female tenniser, but it's been top-notch, you have to say. Well, somebody in the MCR is actually looking for or rooting for Naomi Osaka. Everything good is coming from Japan. I quite agree with you. When you talk about Kei Nishikori also, what she's doing in Japan, everything is good is coming from Japan.
I agree with you now.
Japan, they've made massive improvements in their sports, and Kei Nishikori is doing that. Naomi Osaka is doing that right now, and they are showing more Japanese and more players from Asia are coming out of their shells and getting involved right now, and that's exactly what we want to see.
They're carrying from the footsteps of, I believe, China. I mean, they train from very, very young. And now I feel Japan is now, they're looking in the world, they're looking internationally, they're thinking to themselves, okay, now how do we get some kind of cultural capital, some kind of footstep in the international kind of sporting realm? Because sporting is international and it transcends all across borders, languages, etc., etc. And so yeah, it's great to see more countries, nationalities, ethnicities coming out and showing that actually, you know what, we can do a lot too.
They can do a whole lot of too. More results are coming through from the Australian Open. We'll have Anastasia Sevastova seeing off Andreescu of Canada 6-3, 3-6, and we'll have Madison Keys of the US also seeing off Anastasia Potapova of Russia 6-3, 6-4. Naomi Osaka made mention of her some seconds ago, seeing off Tamara Zidaneske of Scotland 6-2, 6-4. In the male tennis, Kei Nishikori Made mention of female Japanese also seeing off Ivokalovic of Croatia 6-3, 7-6, 5-7, 5-7, 7-6 in a match that lasted more than 4 hours. And Pablo Carreno Busto of Spain saw off Ilya Ivaskiva of Belarus 6-2, 6-3, 7-6. Bona Koric of Croatia saw off Martin Fulsovic of Hungary 6-4, 6-3, 6-4. And Fabio Fognini of Italy seeded 12 saw off Leonardo Meyer of Argentina 7-6, 6-3, 7-6. And those were the results are coming through from the Australian Open. More on that in subsequent edition of our Sports Today on ABS TV. Let's talk about Chelsea in the hunt for Gonzalo Geraldo Higuain. Chelsea, what are they thinking about? Gonzalo Geraldo Higuain. What issues do they have with Morata not performing? Is Gonzalo Higuain better than Morata? And why are they going for him?
Oh, gosh. I wouldn't say that. I would say, particularly for Sarri, tactically, Higuain will potentially fit his team better in the way he's playing at the moment.
You feel so?
This is what I think. Because Morata was scoring wonderful goals when he was playing under Conte. You understand? And now there's a tactical change. All of a sudden, Morata looks like he's not a good player anymore. His confidence is gone, etc., etc.
The same thing, the same issue has befallen Victor Moses also.
Precisely, exactly. So, as I said, there's been a tactical shift, and these players are now found wanting. Higuain has played with Sarri before in Napoli. So he obviously feels this is definitely a Sarri buy. This is a player he's targeted and said he wants this player. So I think it's possible, and it's a loan move, and personal terms have been agreed. So it should go through. And I can see, because now Ronaldo's gone to Juventus. They can't be together. Higuain and Ronaldo cannot be together. So that's another thing that's also fast-forwarded the move too. Yes.
In Chelsea, we'll be watching out for that. Gonzalo Geraldo Higuain coming in the January transfer window before the winter transfer window comes to a crescendo. Expect to see him don the blue colours of Chelsea and play for them and getting the goals that they want to get in the Premier League. Now, time for us to reel out the fixtures of matches for this weekend. Lots of games are built for this weekend in, of course, in major leagues in Western Europe, Elite League, I should say. Of course, I could recall Barcelona yesterday got the better of Levante, but that's in the Copa del Rey. Now let's give you the fixtures of our matches coming through. Let's start with England. Wolverhampton Wanderers taking on Leicester City at the Molineux. Vicarage Road, Watford Burnley, Manchester United, Brighton and Hove Albion, Liverpool Crystal Palace at Anfield at the St James's Park is Newcastle United, Cardiff City, Southampton, Everton. Bournemouth will take on West Ham United at the Vitality Stadium. Hope there will be vitality for the fans. Arsenal will take on Chelsea. Big game, Huddersfield, Man City, Fulham, Tottenham Hotspur. Let's talk about Arsenal, Chelsea. Unai Emery has to get his team to come back and start getting the result. Many Arsenal fans are quite disappointed with the results coming through in the aftermath of their 22-game unbeaten run.
Yes.
They kind of capitulated.
Yes. Arsenal have, I believe, the last 6 games have been very, very disappointing for their fans this season, this half of the season. Hopefully they can bounce back with the Chelsea game. It's a big game. It's a big London derby. So there should be. So if they can, I should expect them to continue on and draw some confidence, because it seems like confidence is what's needed at the moment.
Confidence is what's needed. Any scoreline at the back of your mind?
Oh yes, 5-0 to Arsenal.
Say that again?
5-0 to Arsenal.
5-0 to Arsenal. Sounds like utopia. Anyways, let's go with other pictures of the game. Well, now the field is 5-0. Right, let's before that one. Huddersfield, Manchester City at this John Smith Stadium at the Craven Cottage is Fulham taking on Tottenham Hotspur at the Craven Cottage in Spain. Getafe at the Coliseum Alfonso Perez will take on the Alaves. Is Real Madrid taking on Sevilla. Estadio Alcoraz, Huesca will take on Atletico Madrid. We'll have a Celta Vigo Valencia. Real Betis at the Benito Villamarín will take on Girona. Villarreal with Santi Cazorla will take on Athletic Bilbao. Levante, Real Valladolid, Rayo Vallecano, Real Sociedad, and Barcelona will hope to take on Leganés. That's the club of Kenneth Omeru. In Italy, Roma will take on Torino. Udinese Parma Internazionale Sassuolo Frosinone will take on Atalanta. It's Fiorentina, the Artemio Fionci taking on Sampdoria. Spal will host Bologna. It's Cagliari taking on Empoli. And Lazio, it's away at the San Paolo Stadium where Napoli will be hosting that one. That big game coming up in Italy. In Germany, it's Hoffenheim, Bayern Munich. Leverkusen at the Bay Arena will host Borussia Mönchengladbach. Augsburg welcomes Fortuna Düsseldorf. Hannover 96 will take on Werder Bremen. Freiburg is on the road to Eintracht Frankfurt, and Stuttgart will host Mainz. Borussia Dortmund will play away from home at the Red Bull Arena against Leipzig, and Nürnberg at Berlin, while Schalke at the Veltins will take on VfB Stuttgart. VfL Wolfsburg, or rather, in their game. And last but not the least, in France, it's Lille taking on Amiens. PSG will host Guingamp. Monaco at the Stade Louis II will take on Strasbourg. Nimes will play Toulouse. Reims is at home to Nice, and Rennes Montpellier Cayenne will take on Olympique Marseille. Angers will take on Nantes, and Bordeaux will take on Dijon. Promising to be a big weekend. Finally, in all those results, in all these matches out there, I also like to take you back to England again. Fulham Tottenham Hotspur. What do you expect in that game? Is another London derby?
Yes, it is another London derby. Let's see. Fulham are a strong team. Let me see. Yes, Fulham are a strong team. I see a 2-1 victory, and Fulham will be on the losing end of that.
Fulham on the losing end of that, and Tottenham Hotspur. Right now, they need a moment of a resurgence. They are beginning to lose players, or the Hurricane is injured now. Yes. One of their players has gone out now to China out there, and Mauricio Pochettino also being linked out with a move to Manchester United. Do you see him going to Manchester United?
It will be positive for him if he does. It'll be bad news for Spurs fans and for Tottenham itself. It's really up to him. It's actually the ball's in his court. If Man United actually want him, they need to pay the correct amount of money for him. So we'll see what happens at the end of the season.
We'll see what happens at the end of the season. I also talk about a man in the past 2 seasons. He has not had funds for transfers because of the construction happening at the White Hart Lane. They seems to spend more money in trying to put up the stadium, and he's beginning to complain about that now. But you have to talk about how formidable the teams look, especially in the attacking front. Hu Sung-min, Hurricane, and also Dele Alli. Now Hurricane is injured. Will Ali come in? Can he play B Patro, or can Fernando Llorente, who has been relegated, come in and replace Harry?
Well, I believe the northern neighbours also went through the same thing as well. So Arsenal went through the same thing as well, and so he's starting to see some of the similar problems happening with as well. Okay. I think Pochettino's in the best position to know his players. They're expertly conditioned and well drilled. So I think even though it's been 2 seasons and they haven't really bought very many players, they should end somewhere along the top 4, top 6 in the table this season. In terms of the game, I think probably someone will come in as a striker. As you know, Harry Kane is injured, and of course Dele Alli will support him in that. So we'll see. It will be a good game. In fact, this weekend will be a very exciting.
It'll be an exciting game. Nandi, thank you very much for being on the show. Now, I expect to see the games are coming up, and on Monday I will have a results and look at what went down at the weekend. Fulham, Tottenham Hotspur, London derby. Arsenal, Chelsea is also London derby coming up on Saturday. Fulham, Tottenham Hotspur is actually coming up on Sunday. That's just about it for Sports Today on ABS TV for the Friday edition. As we've already reincarnated the spirit of the weekend, we'll leave you with the game Juventus AC Milan out there at the Stadium della Pai in Turin. My name is Ike Nwoke. Have a lovely weekend, and remember, in everything you do, make sure you do sports.